Minus 96 degrees. A temperature most people cannot imagine. A place where silence has weight. In this frozen corner of Yakutia, a cabin stands alone. It has stood here for 60 years, and so is she. Her name is Antonina. She is 90 years old, and she remembers every winter. 90 winters in Yakutia, she buried her husband, her son, even the dog. She remains. She doesn't fear death. She fears being useless, having no one left to care for. Tonight, the storm is the worst in 20 years. She can feel it in her bones before it arrives. She adds her last large log to the stove, wraps herself tighter, and waits. Then, between gusts, a sound. Thin, high, almost like a baby crying. She holds her breath. Listens. There it is again. A cry. Weak, desperate. Not wind, not a branch. Something alive. Something small. Something suffering.
Help,
Antonina hasn't
here.
moved this fast in 5
I
years.
must hurry.
She grabs the lamp and goes to the door. She opens the door. The cold hits her like a punishment. She looks down. At her feet a shape. Dark, tiny, barely moving. A bear cub, alone, in December, barely alive. No mother anywhere. She knows what this means. The mother is dead. Poachers, or the cold. This cub has nowhere to go. She doesn't think. She bends down.
I have you.
Every joint
We must
screaming,
hurry.
and picks it up. It weighs nothing. Skin and bone and matted fur. She can feel its heartbeat. Fast. Fading. She kicks the door shut, carries the cub to the stove, sits down with it in her lap. It's so thin she can count every bone. A month old, maybe less. Starving. Hypothermic. She wraps it in her shawl, the one her daughter knitted before she left for Yakutsk and never came back. She warms milk, powdered, saved for herself. She heats it and dips a rag. She holds the milky rag to its mouth. Nothing. She squeezes, a drop on its tongue, and the cub swallows. Again and again, drop by drop, for an hour. Her arm aches. She doesn't stop. By midnight, the cub opens its eyes, dark, round, looking directly at her. She looks into those eyes, and for the first time in 3 years, Antonina has a reason to wake up tomorrow. She doesn't sleep, not because she's afraid, because she has something to do. Morning. The cub is still alive. It's breathing stronger. She allows herself to exhale. She names it before breakfast. Borya. After her son who died in the army. Day 1 becomes day 2. She feeds Borya every 2 hours. Warm milk, patience, repetition. By day 3, Borya can hold his head up, tiny dark eyes tracking her across the room. She makes a nest for him. Her shawl, an old felt boot, a hot water bottle wrapped in cloth. He sleeps in the boot, like it's a den, tiny nose poking out. She watches him breathe. Her food supply is limited. Rice, dried fish, powdered milk. She does the math. There's enough for one. She eats less. A handful of rice. Some dried fish. The milk goes to Borya. All of it. A week passes. Borya gains weight. You can no longer count every rib. Antonina grows thinner. She talks to him constantly. About the weather. Her husband. The proper way to make borscht. He listens. Or at least his ears point toward her. And that's enough. By 2 weeks, Borya can walk. Unsteady. Wobbling. But walking. He follows her everywhere. To the stove. To the door. Her shadow is 5 kilograms with 4 paws. She opens the stove to add wood. Borya sticks his nose in. She pulls him back. Niet? He discovers his paws. Bats at a dangling strip of cloth. Tumbles over. Gets up. Does it again. She laughs. The sound surprises her. She hasn't laughed in. She can't remember. She teaches him to eat solid food. Chewed fish. Softened rice. He prefers the fish. A month. He weighs 8 kilos now. Still small for a bear, but alive. So alive. He chews her boot. She scolds him. He chews the other boot. She scolds again. He chews the table leg. Her woodpile is shrinking. She's burning more, keeping warm enough for a growing bear. She needs to go outside, to the lean-to. She hasn't been out in 2 weeks. She opens the door. Borya tries to follow. She blocks him. Stay inside. The cold hits her. She's 90. Every trip outside could be her last. She gathers what she can, 4 logs. Her arms can't manage more. She makes it back, opens the door. Borya is right there, crying. He won't let her out of his sight for the rest of the day. Everywhere she goes, he's underfoot. 2 months. Borya weighs 12 kilos, strong, curious, and increasingly difficult to keep in a 12 square meter cabin. He needs outside. She knows it. A wild animal in a one-room cabin. The impossibility is showing. She opens the door. Just a crack. He pushes through. His first steps outside. He steps into snow, sinks to his belly, scrambles, falls face first, gets up with snow on his nose. He runs, falls, runs, falls, discovers he loves snow. He was built for this. She watches from the door, her boy, in the snow, and she knows this is where he belongs. But not yet. Today he comes back when she calls. Today he's still hers. She dries him by the stove. He falls asleep in her lap, still small enough to hold. That night she writes in the margins of an old book, the only paper she has. December 14. Found a bear cub. Named him Borya. He drank milk. She adds a line each day. Borya ate fish today. Borya walked. Borya chewed my boot again. These notes will be found someday when someone comes to this cabin and finds an old book and wonders what happened here. 3 months. Borya weighs 20 kilos. He needs more food than she can give. But he's alive. She's alive. The stove is burning. And for now, that's enough.
You watch closely,
She takes him
Borya.
to the frozen creek, shows him the
See the
ice,
shadow?
taps it beneath the ice fish. He watches, tilts his head, then slams his paw through the ice. Instinct is older than lessons. He catches nothing, but he knows now. Something ancient in his blood has woken up. Each day she takes him further, into the forest, showing him bark, roots, the things bears eat. One afternoon, Borya catches a fish, a real fish, his first kill. He brings the fish to her, drops it at her feet, his first gift. She cooks the fish. For the first time in months, she eats protein. Her hands shake less the next morning. He catches more. Not every day, but enough. The provider instinct is waking. Spring. The snow thins. Creek flows open. Borya weighs 30 kilos. He wanders further each day. Returns later. Brings back fish, roots, once a dead bird. She knows this trajectory. Every creature she's raised, they grow, they leave. May. The forest comes alive. Borya discovers bugs, berries, a world of food beyond her kitchen. She stops feeding him inside, leaves food outside the door. The separation must begin somewhere. He sleeps outside for the first time, on the doorstep. She checks 4 times through the night. By June, he sleeps in the forest, returns for morning. She has breakfast ready. Summer. He weighs 45 kilos, still adolescent, but powerful, fast, wild. He brings her bigger fish now, stacks them at the door, more than she can eat. She dries the extras, smokes them, building a winter store she didn't think she'd have. Autumn comes fast. First frost. Borya's fur thickens overnight. His body knows what's coming. He starts eating everything, constantly, building fat. She recognizes it. Hibernation,
You will be
instinct.
safe here, Borya.
She digs a space under the cabin
Close to me.
foundation, lines it with hay and moss. A den, for him. October. Borya crawls under the cabin, circles 3 times, lies down, and doesn't come out. The silence hits her. No padding footsteps, no chewing, no warm body in the bed. She puts her hand on the floorboards, feels his breathing below. He's there, just sleeping. Winter returns, her second winter with a bear, except now he sleeps below while she survives above. She talks to him through the floor every night. The weather, the frost patterns, the fox she saw. March, a thump below, stirring, scratching at the den entrance. He's waking. He emerges, groggy, thin, enormous. While she looked away, he became a bear. Antonina looks up at an animal that now towers over her. Borya, he lowers his massive head, presses it against her chest. The same gesture, even at 80 kilos. He stays through spring, returns each evening. The routine holds. Summer. Borya weighs over 100 kilos, full grown, his paws wider than her face. He still brings her fish, enormous salmon now. She can barely lift them. Autumn again, the fat-building frenzy. Then under the cabin, silence, gone until spring. She survives this winter more easily, more food, the pattern working. Human and bear in symbiosis. Spring, he emerges again, even larger, and something has changed in him. He's restless differently now, pacing the forest edge, looking into the deep green. Antonina watches. She knows this restlessness. She saw it in her husband, in her son, the need to go. One morning, he doesn't come back. The doorstep sits empty. The forest is silent. She doesn't sleep, sits in the rocking chair, lamp lit, waiting. Dawn, no scratching, no thump. He's gone. She stands in the door a long time. Then goes inside, makes tea, sits down. The boot den sits empty by the stove. She leaves it there. She doesn't grieve. She can't afford to. In Yakutia, grief uses calories. Summer passes. Autumn. She stocks the fish he caught, survives on what he provided. 2 years pass. She turns 92, still alive, still leaving that boot by the stove. She still talks. To the empty cabin, to the boot, to the memory of a cub who grew into a bear and walked away. She writes in her book margins, Year 2 without Borya, still feeding the stove, still here. She keeps the door unlatched, always, even in the worst storms, just in case. She is 93 now. Her eyes see less. Her hands shake more. But she can still open a door and warm milk. She can still carry water from the creek, slowly. One bucket takes 20 minutes now. The village sends supplies once before winter. A man on a snowmobile. He offers to take her to town. She refuses. He asks if she needs anything. She says, powdered milk, and leave the door alone. It stays unlatched. November. She organizes her cabin for winter, stacks the new supplies, checks the den under the floor, still empty. She heats the powdered milk every evening, pours a small bowl, leaves it by the door. Every morning, it's frozen solid, untouched. 3 years now without him. Her body knows time differently than her heart does. Some mornings she wakes, and her first thought is, today, maybe today. Other mornings she wakes and thinks, what if he never comes back? What if this is all there was? But she gets up, makes tea, warms milk, places it outside, because that's what you do when you love something. You keep the door open. December arrives, the 4th December since she found a dying cub at this door. The cold settles in, and Antonina settles with it. December, the worst storm in 30 years, worse than the night she found Borya. Her stove can't keep up, walls freezing inside. She can see her breath by the fire, her woodpile. 2 days worth, maybe 3, not enough. She starts burning furniture, the stool, then the shelf, saving the icons. Everything else goes. She's cold, truly cold, the kind that starts inside. She can feel herself slowing. She closes her eyes, not sleeping, deciding if this is the night. Then a sound, through the storm, deep, heavy, something she almost recognizes. Against the cabin wall, something enormous, leaning, pressing, then scratching, at the door. Deep scratches, not a cub's scratches, a full-grown bear's. Her hand goes to her mouth. She knows those scratches. She forces herself up. She can barely stand. She reaches the door. She opens the door, and there, filling the entire doorframe, Borya. On his chest, The tan crescent. She'd know it anywhere.
Borya.
She whispers it. His ears move forward. He knows his name.
Don't come
He
in.
pushes through the door, fills half the cabin,
Oh, you brought
and he's
them.
not alone. Behind him, two small dark shapes, tumbling, crying. The same thin cry she heard 3 years ago. Cubs. His cubs. And he brought them here. To the one person he knows will keep them safe. She doesn't hesitate. She bends down, picks up both cubs, one in each arm. She carries them inside. The big bear follows. The door closes. 4 heartbeats. She wraps the cubs in the shawl. The same shawl. Full circle. Borya lies against the door, blocking it. His body is a wall of warmth. The cabin warms, not from the stove, from 300 kilos of bear. The frost retreats. She feeds the cubs. Warm milk, a rag, drop by drop. She knows this ritual. Borya watches her feed his cubs, his dark eyes showing something that looks like gratitude. The storm rages 3 more days. Inside, warmth, milk, sleep, 4 heartbeats. The storm breaks. Morning sun through the window. They survived. Borya stands, moves to the door, looks at his cubs, then at her, then the door. He takes one cub gently in his mouth, carries it to the door, returns for the other. Antonina holds the second cub one extra moment, presses her face into its fur, then lets go. Borya takes the cub, looks at her, one long look, then walks into the morning. 3 bears, walking into the morning, getting smaller, until the forest takes them. She watches until she can't see them, then watches the space where they were. She goes inside. The cabin is warm, smells of bear, alive with memory. She smiles, puts the kettle on. The ritual continues. She picks up her book, writes in the margin,
Miracle
December
has
20.
returned.
Borya came home,
The cubs
brought
are
his
here.
children. She stands in the doorway until her feet go numb, then stands a little longer. She closes the door, slowly. Like closing a book she isn't finished reading. The cabin smells of bear, of cubs, of milk and warmth and living things. She breathes it in before it fades. She finds a tuft of cub fur on her shawl, holds it to the light, puts it in the felt boot with the others. She sits down, pulls the shawl tight, puts the kettle on, and begins again. Spring, snow melts. Wildflowers where ice was.
The
Antonina
sun.
Steps outside,
It feels so
sunlight
good.
on her face. She tilts her head back and breathes. She cleans the cabin, mends what the storm broke. Borya's claw marks in the floor those she keeps. Summer. She tends a garden, sits in the sun. She is alone but not lonely. She keeps the boot den by the stove, the shawl on her shoulders, the door unlatched. In it comes. Not every year, but enough. A scratching, a thump, dark fur and dark eyes. The cubs grow. Some bring their own cubs. Her doorstep becomes a sanctuary. Hunters tell stories. An old woman in the forest, protected by bears. Nobody believes them. She turns 94, then 95. The bears come and go. She remains. She's slower now. Eyes see less. Hands shake always. But she can still open a door. She can still warm milk. One December night, she sits by the stove, fire low, too tired to feed it. She closes her eyes. Not afraid, just tired. She's earned this rest. Scratching at the door. She opens her eyes, smiles. The door is unlatched. It swings open. Borya, gray in his muzzle now, old for a bear. He walks in slowly, lies beside her chair. He's alone this time. Just him, just her, the way it started. She reaches down, touches his head. The fur is coarse now, gray, but warm. Hello, Borya. Her voice thin, a whisper. He hears it. His ear turns. He stays. Through the night, his body warming the cabin, his breathing a lullaby. In the morning, she adds wood, makes tea. He eats fish from her hand. The ritual continues. He stays 3 days. Each day she feeds him from the stores his hunting built. On the fourth morning, he rises, stretches, looks at the door, looks at her. She nods. Go on then, I'll be here. He presses his head against her chest. One more time. Then he walks to the door, pauses, and disappears into the white. Antonina watches him go, like she always does, like she always will. She goes inside, makes tea, sits down, opens her book, writes one line. He came back. He always comes back. She closes the book, places it on the shelf, beside the photographs, beside the icons. Outside, the snow falls, the stove burns, the boot den waits by the fire. This is Yakutia, where the cold takes everything, where nothing should survive. But in the coldest place on earth, a 90-year-old woman opened her door. She found something small and dying, and she chose to care. And because she did, something incredible happened, over and over, for the rest of her life. In a cabin at the edge of the world, the door is never locked. The milk is always warm, and the boot sits ready by the stove.